All right, guys. Today we have Sayali Naik with us. A short introduction about Sayali, guys. An entrepreneur, a sports nutritionist, a sports fanatic, whatever we call her. I think she's one in all. Sayali, thanks for again joining us. For those who don't know you, Sayali has been in the industry for so long. She's masters, Sayali, if I'm correct.
Yes.
And she has been coaching a number of people. She has been a nutritionist to many of the celebrities in Bollywood, in cricket, in football, weightlifting. So the who's and who's of some of them we may be very familiar with, especially with cricket. But there are a lot of celebrities in other sports which people may not be aware. Guys, Sayali is one of the people behind them when they perform on the field, and a lot of things you see the action happens. It's not just one person doing it, there's a team of people doing it, and then everybody contributing to it. Thanks again for Sayali for joining us today on the show. um, we take it forward. Sayali, tell us, how did it all start for you eventually? Why nutrition and why sports?
Okay. So first of all, a very good, great thank you to Sanket and Synergysports for having me here. So yeah, I mean, I've done my masters in sports nutrition, and I did from Mumbai University. So it's all started way back. So I've been working in this industry for quite some time, and I always wanted to be around somewhere in health related field. I always wanted to be a doctor first. So yeah, my whole interest was around health, fitness, and stuff like that. And I was also more sports fanatic, and always follow cricket, tennis, a little
Right.
bit of football as well. So I think this was a common field of interest that I always used to be more fanatic about. So that's how it started, and slowly, then due to word of mouth and due to good work in this and good interest in fashion, I ended up working with some good people in the field. A lot of IPL players, cricketers,
Right.
badminton players,
Right.
elite level tennis players, and and I also work with a lot of general population as well for weight loss, diabetes, thyroid.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I have my own firm through which I consult everyone.
Right.
So the whole consultation part goes online for those who opt for online sessions, and
Right.
offline as well. So yeah, so it's called Bullseye Nutrition, which was founded in 2019.
Right.
So yeah, it's been going good.
Perfect. परफेक्ट. सो ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ आईपीएल वाले और सेलिब्रिटीज को ही आप कंसल्ट करते हैं, हमारे जैसे लोग भी आपके साथ कंसल्ट कर सकते हैं. सो
Yes,
this is great news for people who really want a good nutritionist. Whether it's sports or not sports, you should definitely check out Bullseye Nutrition's website. Reach out to her, book an appointment, and check it out. Definitely, I think she's one of the best in the field. So there's no second thoughts about it. Sayali, so you started being thinking of becoming a doctor. Health was your area of interest. You ended up becoming a nutritionist. How did you change that career path? And there could be, definitely there will be situations you would have gone through. Now I have to become or do MBBS or take some PG courses, etc., etc. Take us through some of the struggles you might have gone through, some of the journeys you might have gone through. Also, keeping in mind that और भी लोग होंगे आपकी तरह जो इस इंडस्ट्री में आने की कोशिश कर रहे होंगे, then
correct.
help them.
Yeah, I think everything boils down to more of passion and what interest you have. So I always was towards human biology, human study, more scientific part of it.
Right.
Okay, so that's how I was more inclined towards health, towards being a doctor. So I ended up giving some entrances for that as well. But then ended up, just thinking about, okay, not if not opting for a doctor degree, maybe I can work around something similar. So that's where I ended up researching a bit, and then just thought of opting for this particular course and specialize in sports nutrition, if not more clinical or generalized nutrition.
Right.
So that's how it has been. So it was about part of passion and part of interest that paved the way.
Perfect. And it's not something which is very common in India, right? I mean,
Correct.
people talk about health, then they talk about dental, MBBS, doctors, physicians. Nutrition nowadays is becoming quite mainstream, but I think from the times you would have done your I mean whatever graduation etc. At that time it was not so mainstream.
Yes.
To have that vision to do something in this field, and then to find out which university has what courses, what programs, what do I get out of it, how do I drive my career path, because a lot of things you are doing yourself, trying to figure out. Of course parents are there to support and all of that. So this is a big thing. From your knowledge, since you did from Mumbai University, are there other universities offering similar programs and courses for the people out there?
Back then, I think the university that I did it from was the only college who
India.
used to, offer master's degree in sports nutrition. But then I'm sure like there are a couple of more colleges now in India where you get double graduate degree in sports nutrition. So yeah, and yeah, definitely like you said, it's a very upcoming field even now. So there have been a lot of nutritionists now who have been
Right.
uh, around the globe. But back then, I think that was a very upcoming field. So it was a bit more challenging on hunting for new opportunities and finding our own way to do stuff. But I mean, it was more of an opportunity on showing your interest and working hard towards it. So since it was an upcoming field, so I think whatever opportunities
Right.
were there available at that time were really good. So I mean,
Right.
yeah, it was a bit challenging back then, but since the sports industry is evolving and the ecosystem is growing, I think it's quite booming up.
Booming up, and as you said, it's booming up, but at the same time you have to maintain right balance. When a lot of noise happens, a lot of noise come in, there's also a lot of indiscipline which kicks in, because there's a lot of business happening around it, there's a lot of competition happening around it. How do you keep up with it, in the sense like, you have to have some X factor. This is what I do and this is how I do differently. This is my unique selling point, USP. This is how I perform my duties. This is how I suggest and recommend. So what would be very different in your way of consultations than probably the mainstream is?
Yeah, so the whole part of counseling, consultations, it's more on scientific approaches. Whether it could be prescriptions of the food, whether it could be prescriptions of any kind of supplements, or whether it's like one-on-one counseling as well, where the communication is involved. So it's all psychology, and it's more on more scientific that goes around. So yeah, I mean, I follow some protocols in consultations and then follow up basis on that and observe the results that one that is planned for that particular person or planned for that particular goal of the person. So based on all those things, then I go about handling those. So
परफेक्ट। अगर आपके पास आना है कंसल्टेशन के लिए, तो पहले मेरे को एक हेल्थ चेकअप के लिए बोलेंगे आप? ये
correct.
रहा
Yeah, I
चेकअप।
follow a set of health counseling session,
गॉट इट।
and then based on that, when I understand goals, health concerns, medical conditions, maybe
Right.
training for that matter, whether it should be sports or general gym going person. So, based on all those things, based on all the goals that they are coming to me with, I go about counseling and planning their diet and their supplement strategy.
Perfect. And supplements is something which is definitely, I think, a lot of people are talking about this, especially those in so much worried about their fitness, etc.
Correct.
Now, टमाटर इतने महंगे हो गए इंडिया में, तो आपको पता ही है, and lot of everything. I mean, pretty much all the cereals and everything is I mean, during the high inflation phase of everything is very expensive. For those people who can afford it, not a problem. For those people maybe in those middle class or lower middle class, I think a lot of athletes in India come from that background. People in Punjab, Haryana, wrestlers, those communities. I think we never saw people like Neeraj Chopra. He come from very humble family. Those kind of people who are like coming up, growing up, trying to make their mark, probably will not be able to afford those high-end foods or supplements and like whatever rich vitamins and minerals type food. What will be your recommendation to those people? अगर वो सोच रहे हैं तो what should be their direction? कैसे move करना है आगे?
Correct. Yes. So it all boils down to how much also are they willing to spend, or what is their goal for that matter, or how seriousness is there around it. So yeah, I mean, when I counsel the athlete or maybe counsel the general population as well, I understand their their cultural habits or their background or spending capabilities and things like that. And based on all those things, the options are given. So it's not necessary that every health food is, it's going to be expensive. In fact, it could be vice versa as well. So all the natural foods or maybe, a diet can be done for a normal person without supplements as well. So there's no one particular rule as such. But yeah, like once I counsel, I come to know about the background and their spending capabilities. And then based on those things, the recommendations are done.
Possible है ऐसा नहीं है कि
Correct.
if you're coming from lower middle it's not possible nowadays. ऐसा system है कि you can still make it, you can still
Yeah,
consult people like you, and you will help them come up with some plan which is suitable for them.
correct. It's all very much personalized.
Very personal.
So all the challenges are discussed, and based on all those things, the plans are made. Always.
Perfect. Well, that's good. I think that instills a lot of hope in many of the upcoming players or maybe athletes or people like me, general guys who want to be really concerned about their fitness. So I'll just come back to the first step of your journey. Tell us a little bit about your family members as well, because we didn't discuss that. um, you know are they you have sisters, brothers, and do your father and mother also come from the same background or any kind of?
No, I think there's no relevance to anywhere around health or anywhere around sports.
Yeah.
So they are all into different,
Fields.
professions. So yeah, my elder brother is also from a different profession.
Okay.
So nowhere that they are relevant to my.
Interesting. So this is something which was divine, perhaps, and something which you saw around, and something which clicked
Yeah.
at the right time.
Yes.
Understand. Perfect. So, Sayali, there's with a lot of buzz around. I'll come back to your, how the thought around your entrepreneurship came through. But a lot of people who might be interested, in getting into nutrition, etc. What will be the first thing they will have to take care of? Some other people might want to come to you, and then after that they will follow a regime at home. They have a certain, you'll have them certain diet plan, etc. Follow at home, then come back to you. Is that how you do it, or is there a different pattern for different kind of people, different type of athletes, or different, like general, as you said, people? What's the pattern like?
Okay. So, for example, it would be very much individualized, actually. So, for
Okay.
example, if some athlete is coming to me, they would have different kind of goals around it. Saying an athlete would be coming for me with me. I mean, to work on their fitness capabilities, whether weight loss it is or fat loss, muscle gain, to increase speed, power, strength. So all these concerns of the diet of the fitness are discussed with the athletes, and based on all the discussion around training, a discussion around their eating habits, where are they going to eat, where are they going to travel. A lot of athletes, they travel year round.
Right.
So all those challenges are discussed with them, and then based on their goal, a target is set, and then things are prescribed for them. Okay, so that could be very much individualized from sports to sports, or within sports as well.
Absolutely.
Say a batter would will require a different set of nutrition strategies. Maybe a pacer will require a different set of strategies.
Absolutely.
Similarly, it could be different for general population as well. General population, someone who is into corporates, who doesn't have really good amount of time to spend too much on physical activities. Whereas someone who is into quite active regime of gym, who is quite a fitness freak and want to have that chisel body and things like that. So it's very much individualized. The goals are individualized. Their eating habits are individualized. Um, medical concerns are very individualized. So based on all these things, all the things are discussed prior I prescribe any diet or any kind of supplement to them.
So different type of sports, like you just mentioned about, like, a batter will have to have a lot of stamina around batting long hours,
Correct.
the field, and to be hydrated enough. So all the food intake he will take, or different kind of nutrition you will suggest, will have a lot of capabilities around keeping you hydrated for long hours. Of course, a lot of running, so he must be good and sprinting and all that. Um, l- Compared to a bowler, you have to have strong arms, must have, running fast. So fitness ka bhi ek element hai. There's a lot of fitness into it. At the
Correct.
same time, that has to complement the nutrition, has to complement the fitness. Of course,
Correct.
fitness, more you do gymming, I think your body will demand more of nutrition and more of proteins and all of that. Um, so do you have any kind of a template, like, कि badminton hai, तो badminton में you need to have high shuttle speed and all this, करने के लिए आपको arms movement fast होना चाहिए. If you're pacer, you'll have to literally sprint fast. If you're a spinner, probably you have to focus more on wrists and all that stuff. If you're a batter, you have to focus more on being hydrated enough so that you can stay long hours on the crease. Is there any pattern to it? आपके पास कोई definition है, कोई template है इसका?
So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's very much sports dependent. Okay, or overall pattern is very much sports specific, and your overall diet pattern will always revolve around the training pattern of the athlete.
Yeah.
So all the things are also discussed around their training pattern. What is the workout plan like? What are the activities that they do throughout the day? Based on those things, the foods are placed accordingly.
Right.
So it is all dependent on the type of training that they do and the type of sport that they play. So based on all those things, the diet is prescribed. So yes.
And do you come across players who are resistant enough? I mean, the same time, बहुत hesitation है अंदर, नहीं ये ज़्यादा हो गया, ये disorder, some resistance toward what you propose, or they will have their own opinion maybe.
Maybe not always. Obviously, they come with some fixed amount of habits that they have been following for quite some time now.
Right.
So to change those habits, obviously, it will take some time, and that's the reason they join me. So yeah, I mean, it's all about why you need to be changing those things if those things are not working well for you. So I think that's enough motivation for them to work and try different things so that the goals are achieved faster and they see quick changes in their sport or respective fields.
Perfect. So Sayali, come back to the venture which we were talking about. Tell us more about how did you think about getting into your venture, which is Bullseye Nutrition. Start हुआ, कैसे हुआ, क्या thought process है, और अभी where are you headed next? And
yeah, so I from the time I joined, I mean, the field started working. I was working actively around with a lot of athletes any which ways. So so I always wanted to have my own setup and own venture. So 2019 was the time where I started my company called Bullseye Nutrition, and through which I've been working with different sports like cricket, tennis, football, marathoners, weightlifters, golfers, things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's going good so far around it.
perfect. So most of the athletes now you engage with are generally through the company you have set up, or maybe B2B, whichever organization it's pretty much business to business. Fair enough. I think that's good. We wish you all the best. In fact, we will definitely try and spread the word, even on our platform, on our social media. People reach out to you. I know we'll be very glad. And the other thought which you just mentioned, I mean, some of these sports athletes, if you can name, how did you start? Who are the first players who probably were the first ones to start with, and then subsequently You created contacts, you met with a lot of other people. And because when I was reading about you, I saw a lot of celebrities on IPL and different sports, including even Navy sports. Or somewhere I read you even
Yeah, I've interned with them.
you
Uh,
interact with them. Yeah, fair enough.
in the
Yeah,
start of my career.
बहुत बहुत वाइड, क्योंकि स्पोर्ट्स होता है, आई मीन स्पोर्ट्स और बॉलीवुड तो साथ में जाते हैं आज की डेट में, पहले नहीं था. बट डिड दैट हेल्प यू, डिड इट लाइक कम इन अ पैकेज, या फिर कैसा था वो ग्रेजुअल सीक्वेंस?
Yeah, it's been a gradual work. So I worked with a lot of athletes like Chetan Zakaria, you know, he's from Delhi Capitals. Vicky Oswal was there, India Under 19 World Cup. Similarly, Yash Thakur, Rajwandran Harnekar, who plays for CSK.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of players at elite levels as well. Say Pravin Tambe, Hanuma Vihari. So I
Right.
work with them for a brief time. So yeah, I mean, it's been a good feeling to work with all these elite athletes. Then I've also worked with some good tennis players from India as well. So
Okay.
Sumit Nagal, Rituja Bhosle,
Yeah.
Sneha Mani. So I think they're quite professional in their team, in their sport. So it's a good feeling to contribute towards their success in their fitness and
Perfect.
making
Yeah,
them
yeah.
feel good on the field. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think if you coach somebody and they go and perform and win medals or whatever it is, I think it's indirect. You are getting that award, right? It's
Right.
yours. Well, you share that award with the player. I think eventually he has to perform, but to get him in that shape to perform. You mentioned about Rutuja. In fact, I know her so well.
Okay.
From Pune. We have met so many times in Pune. Are you based in Pune as well, Sayali?
I travel back and
You
forth.
travel to Pune. Okay. So you're still consulting her, or?
Yeah, she still consults me.
Oh wow, very nice, beautiful.
She's about to travel for Asians as well now.
Yes, he's traveling for Asian Games. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, next month most likely I'll be in Pune. So
Okay.
hopefully, but she will not be there. But I make a point that as and when I go there, probably just catch up for a coffee.
Sure. Okay.
um, and that's great. So I think that's good. I mean, you have pretty much covered all the sports, but ऐसे कुछ players भी मिलते हैं आपको जो you have fun, laughter, and all that stuff. Like अभी IPL होगा, then you guys get together, you huddle. IPL में अलग type की training होती है. Different clubs go different locations and then train. So you guys huddle up as well at the same time, or?
Definitely. Yes.
Okay.
We do. So we have a sports science team where we have to be a part of the huddle as well for the discussions and things like that.
Right.
So all the requirements around athletes are discussed with them, their individual health concerns or their sports challenges, things like that are discussed with the team, and then something is work around that in the respective fields. So yeah, I mean, IPL is a good team to work around. We get to know a lot,
Quite
or
hectic.
get to learn a lot with them, and it's definitely fun, like I said,
Yeah.
working with the team. So,
Yeah. In fact, your association with Delhi Capitals, is it still ongoing?
so yeah, I worked with them the last season
Last.
in 2022. Yes, so it was a good experience, and then I've been working with those players even now. They consult me on and off regarding their fitness, and so yeah, I mean it's a good feeling.
Good experience. You get to travel a lot and
Yes,
travel with the team. You have a lot of banter around and
yes, definitely.
on and off, good, bad, whatever it may be. But I think it's an experience worth uh,
Yes,
having as a part of your career. Look, one thing which I did bring it up earlier is a lot of things around vegan. People talk about vegan diet, and so there's one thing that's vegetarian. There's one thing called vegan. They're two different
correct,
aspects, right? So-called I'm also vegetarian, but not vegan. So
correct,
vegans के लिए आप बताएं कि what is the difference between these two? Uh,
correct.
and why should one be a vegan? Perhaps, of course, maybe by choice, but some people are not by choice. Some people are. It's also a status symbol these days. Like you're a vegan.
Correct,
In fact, a lot of people in the West are now falling for vegan.
correct.
So give some clarity and visibility to users around these two things.
Right. So, in my opinion, I don't think like one should be going vegan just for any random reason because 10 other people are following.
Right.
They could be going vegan due to their choice. So vegan sources of food are very limited as
Right.
compared to
Yeah.
vegetarian and non-vegetarian sources. So the food options get less, and due to which you have to repetitively have the same or similar kind of nutrients or similar kinds of food in the food list. And so there might be a good chance of you developing an insufficiency or deficiency of certain kinds of nutrients that
Right.
could be say vitamin B12, vitamin D, iron at times, calcium at times. So one needs to consult a nutritionist, discuss all their goals on why they're going vegan or what is their goal towards towards that particular diet, and all these things needs to be discussed and find proper substitutes and get a customized plan according to them.
Right.
Only then they can ensure that the whole diet is quite balanced and they're not missing out on any kind of nutrient that could in fact hamper their health in general. So yeah, I mean that would be a good idea on consulting a nutritionist, consulting an expert, and get their plan sorted for them. Otherwise, it could be very very harmful for their health.
And no, absolutely. I think, as you said, there are very limited options for vegan available, especially for normal middle class people.
Correct.
A lot of things people still import. I think in vegan, there are a lot of people who import different stuff or imported stuff from Australia, from different other countries where it's readily available, quite mainstream, not so mainstream in India at the moment. Um, you also mentioned about vitamins and supplements and all. अभी
Correct.
हमारे readers के लिए आप बताएं in simple steps, um, what basic minimum vitamins everybody should have, or is it required even to have any supplement? Um,
Right.
if,
So
yeah.
yes. So to talk about supplements, supplements can be taken strictly under a nutritionist guidance or a doctor's guidance.
Mm,
Always, I don't normally advise randomly to pop in any kind of supplements with on their own will. Basically, those could be really harmful if if not taken really nicely. So supplements could be taken just in case you're deficient in certain kind of nutrient, or whether you're an athlete, then due to your extra physical activity, your body requirements are a little different as compared to someone who is a gym going person or a normal sedentary person.
right, right,
So hence the supplements could come into the picture. And the third reason would be like if you're an athlete and you require that extra performance edge. So there are certain set of supplements that could help you benefit to get that performance edge
right.
and do that power and energy, things like that. So for that category of supplement, always consult your nutritionist and get the brand sorted, dosages sorted, things like that. So again, it would be a very individualized programs for the supplements as well. So not every cricketer require the same, or not every tennis player require the same. So all the things are supposed to be discussed with the nutritionist, and then based on the recommendations, the strategy is supposed to be followed.
Perfect. I think this is an advice to a lot of people, because a lot of people they'll just go and buy any supplements from Amazon,
Correct.
thinking that कि अभी मेरी हड्डियां कमजोर हो रही हैं तो ये खा लेंगे तो ठीक हो जाएगा. So that is a very very wrong notion, as you're rightly pointing out. And of course, a number of people we have spoken to say the same thing, but I think the general people generally are not so much aware. And if somebody says ये खा लो ये ठीक हो जाएगा, they will go for it, which
Correct.
is which is a bad precedent. And definitely, I think, Sayali, I mean, the last few questions, and then probably Harshita will have some for you. In Synergy, we cover a lot of action around swimming and badminton. So these two are the sports primarily we focus on. Beyond that, we focus on knowledge-based, like fitness and nutrition. These two are the other aspect of sports we focus on. So definitely, it's always great talking to you in that context. For those people and students, maybe early age kids getting into badminton and swimming, if you can give an advice on what could be or what should be the basic nutrition formula they should follow, or get up in the morning, you should have a little bit of this, lunch, little bit of this, in limited quantity, whatever. If you can give some suggestions to those people, that'll be great.
Okay. So nutrition requirements are very much, very much individualistic.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
for every player, for every badminton player, or maybe a swimmer for that matter, their training requirements are quite different. Some athletes they practice twice in a day. They do their gym as well. They do their other physical activities as well. So they're quite active. So
Right.
your nutrition requirements for those particular athletes will
Good.
be quite different to someone who is just practicing once a day or who is just doing their gym fitness once a day.
Absolutely.
So eating pattern will depend upon the age, height, the training load, the training timing, the sport that they play, medical concerns, everything. So there's no one particular generalized thing that that can be told. Okay, do this, do that, do this.
Okay.
That will not yield any kind of set result. However, saying that like we need to be a little more balanced about everything. So there
Right.
should be enough carbohydrates, proteins, fats in every meal that they
Mm.
eat. So main meals are a must. One should not miss out any kind of or skip meals for
Got it.
that matter. Always include a pre or a during the meal, during the session or a pre-session meal
Okay.
uh, to top up the energy levels, and also include a post-workout or post-practice meal, just that they ensure their recovery as well, so that they're better recovered for the next activities that they do. So, having a good balance diet according to their training load and training capabilities,
Good.
training fitness, um, is something that's important. So,
Right.
along with that, then the hydration strategies again that would depend upon the weather conditions they're playing in, or whether their sweat rates are high, and their training capabilities and stuff like that. So all these challenges are discussed in the counseling session. I observe them, um, I know about it, and then some kind of recommendations are done. So which are very highly individualized.
Perfect. So I think, as you're rightly pointing out, it's highly individualized. Yes, you're absolutely correct. फिटनेस रूटीन अलग होता है लोगों का, बॉडी साइज अलग होता है, शेप्स अलग होते हैं, बॉडी की रिक्वायरमेंट भी अलग होती है. सो वन साइज कैन नॉट फिट ऑल, which is good. So I think this is good advice actually, not to follow a blanket nutrition plan for everybody. Yeah, you have to have an individualized plan, but at the same time, as you said, pre-workout, make sure you have had something so that your energy levels are high after workout, and then you have to be hydrated enough, etc. So these are basic kind
Correct.
of the basic hygienes which these guys must follow. The problem is that a lot of people, we cover a lot of junior athletes. We try and give them a lot of exposure through our platform, and many of these are very less informed about these things now because of social media. A lot of information flow. It's gradually increasing, but as we see, um, the interest towards this is less. It has gone better, but the questions do come through around some of these areas, and that's where I think talking to you will help some of those players as well. I think they can find an address to reach out to and get your support as well. So
Correct.
Sally, I think towards the end, I just want to ask one question: is do you make use of technology in your day-to-day um, coaching or counseling as well? Do you think it has impacted you a bit, or in good sense rather?
Okay. Technology like
I mean, things should have evolved, right? The way you used to coach and counsel 5 years back, you don't counsel and coach now. So your concepts around researching the new patterns, new trends, new behaviors, how to deal with some of those would have changed as well, evolved. So tell us about that. How do you prepare yourself for the next 1 or 2 years? Because everybody has to learn and unlearn a lot of things. There's
correct.
nothing. There's nothing like one fixed style. So how do
Correct.
you go about doing it? And does technology help you, or any kind of technology you use which assists you in doing that?
Not really about the technology part, but yeah, I mean, due to changing trends in the market and due to a lot of new research that comes in, new studies that happen around food, around um, different supplements, different sports, things like that. So obviously, I do keep on reading some research papers, keep myself updated about it on new researches or what's there in the market on the trends, and then I keep my study up on that. So yeah, I mean that part is something that I regularly do so that I can help and guide the individual more nicely.
Right.
And while counseling sessions as well. So it's also about making one understand on why you should be doing certain kind of things. So I spend some time about counseling as well, counseling an athlete on why they should be doing this and why they shouldn't be doing that, things like that. So yeah, I mean, once I understand their goals, their mentality, and things like that, I think it's very much individualized. So I've learned over the years on how the food psychology works, how the brain revolves around food and sports and things like that.
There's a lot
So
of there's huge science behind it, isn't it?
correct, yes. So definitely a lot of reading goes,
Right.
personal experiences goes in it, and that's how unlearning and learning
Yeah.
happens.
In fact, being in Singapore, I can say that Singapore is one of the country which has a lot of sports into it. I mean, they are not so big as, like, you will not see them winning so many medals in Olympics. That's a different thing.
Yes,
But Singapore has a habit of, pretty much everyone in the country will, every family will have everybody like running, sprinting, playing tennis,
yes,
even as a hobby. So it's
correct,
like it's in their DNA. You'll find everybody fit, even
correct,
to the age of 18, 85, they will be playing tennis and lawn tennis. You'll be surprised. So that level of fitness and the awareness is there, and that has actually helped create a lot of careers. So there are a lot of careers around sports nutrition, sports science, of sports fitness. Recently, I visited one lab in a university where they created a 3D lab around sports fitness. It's called Sports Science Lab, where they put 3D cameras, and they once you get into the room and athletes, they will ask you to perform certain things, and then using the 3D cameras, they will do analysis around whether your postures are correct, what kind of help you might need to create your right postures or right positions, etc., etc. It was insane, I tell you. I mean, this is something which is different level altogether. Um, so technology is definitely taking it way like forward. But yeah, nutrition plays such a key role in everything we do in our daily lives, right? So Shayali, thank you so much. I think I'm done with it. I'm based in Singapore, as I said. So if you travel to Singapore, you have an address, you can reach out to me, you can message me. I can take you around in the country wherever you want to. There's a lot of beautiful places to visit. So just drop a text, and it's a lovely place to be in. Right? So vacations कुछ भी आप उस plan करके आओ. Now let me hand it over to Harshita. She will have some fun queries for you and questions for you. Over to you, Harshita.
Hi,
thank you.
Sayali.
Hi, Ashwin.
Hi. Okay, so I'll just start with the session. Okay, so what's your guilty pleasure food on a cheat day?
On cheat day, I think cakes, a dark chocolate cake.
Is it considered healthy?
Not really. That's the reason it's considered cheat.
But a lot of times, Sally, people say, and I wanted to clarify. Good that you brought up that question. होल ग्रेन है तो बढ़िया है, या फिर उसमें जैगरी है तो अच्छा है. These things matter, really?
There could be a better substitute, I would say, but depends now what is good for whom. It can't be a generalized rule.
Because to a certain extent, everything is processed. The kind of
Yes,
thing it goes through. So
correct.
it's not 100% true as well, right?
Correct. So it's all about moderation, as limited as you can keep it in the diet. So not too often and not too much of amounts at a time. So I think a balance of good and bad.
Like Coke and Diet Coke, right? They're still eventually Coke. Yeah.
Yeah. focus something that's totally
Yeah.
not a good thing to do.
No, absolutely. But okay, you mentioned about that. How about Coke Zero? There is another version called Coke Zero. How do people read it? Like normal people like us, zero देखते हैं तो लगता है इसमें कुछ नहीं है, पी लो. So,
And
what do you recommend? Like,
yeah, but it's still artificial. So I mean, the limited you keep it, the better it
the
is.
better it is. Yeah. So, perfect. Good knowledge. Thank you.
Okay. What's your go-to healthy snack when you're on the run?
Healthy snack, maybe at times I might just carry some nuts along, a fruit along, maybe an apple or a pear, and just grab it, as that's the quite easiest option to be done. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. As per you, what is an ideal pre-workout meal?
Okay. An ideal pre-workout meal would depend upon the goal of the person, but a very common one would be a simple, a banana or something, which is quickly digestible and gives you quick energy for the workout that you plan.
Okay. Okay. If you could partner with any chef for a nutrition cooking show, who would you choose?
Maybe the famous one, the Sanjeev Kapoor.
Okay. That's a good pick. Okay. Okay. If you were an athlete for a day, which sport would you choose?
I think tennis.
Do you play tennis as well, Sayali?
Not really, but I played until college, but not anymore.
So you love the sport actually, genuinely.
I just love watching. So
Perfect. Nice.
Okay. If you could be the nutritionist for any celebrity athlete, who would you pick?
not sure about this question.
I have worked with so many of them. So, I mean, of course, there will be somebody you would definitely want to. ये इसको तो मैं को करना ही है.
Maybe unrealistic Roger Federer.
Wow. Okay. So you pick the top guy in tennis. Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Dream will come true. Yes.
Okay. Among the athletes you have worked with, who has been the most determined one? Someone who went above and beyond your recommendation to achieve their performance goals.
I think quite a few of them. Chetan Sakaria, Vicky Oswal. They've been quite very regular. Then some of them who are not very known. They play for Ranji, so there have been quite a lot of them actually.
Okay, one last question. So, can you name any dish from your childhood that you love to eat?
A dish that I love to eat. I think pav bhaji.
Okay, so
Perfect.
that's all from my side.
Rachita, that was good and quick. Sayali, one last question. Do you have your website which we can go through?
I don't own a website as yet. Actually, I
Okay.
do, but then it's not functioning at the moment.
Okay.
But if
Oh.
anyone is kind of planning to reach out to me, then I think they can, reach out to my Instagram handle, which is nutritionist_Sayali,
Sure.
or maybe my brand name, Bullseye Nutrition.
Perfect. So we will do the needful on our website. We'll try and ensure as much information as we can put. People will find an address, and like we do, in fact, we can recommend everybody in my company can go get some discount from Sayali. All right, thank you. Wonderful, nice speaking to you, Sayali. Enjoy your Friday, lovely weekend, and thanks again for finding time and talking to us. Lovely, it's beautiful. We got to know so many things today.
Thank you, Cynergysports. Thank you, Sanket and
Thank-
Harshita. It was
Love-
really good interacting with you guys.
All right, we will catch up again sometime. And when you are Singapore,
Done.
message me. Yeah.
Yes, we'll definitely meet up.
Take care. Bye.
See you then. Bye bye.
Bye.